garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on the ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. I'd stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me falling, but He bids me go through the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
I do have some visual aids that I will show later on. Anyway, first off, my name is Art Morris, and I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, if anybody knows where that is. It's up in the middle of the Pennsylvania, the Amish country, Mennonites, people like that. So needless to say, I had a very sheltered life, didn't know anything about outside the farm, outside the country. Just like, didn't know. Nobody ever told me. So I had experienced things on my own. So one of the things is, like, I was a very little scrawny kid, you know, maybe 40 inches tall, you know, 50-pound little kid, you know, blonde hair, blue-eyed, you know, blue-eyed but brown-eyed, but anyway. The whole thing is that, you know, I didn't have a lot of experiences and things, just knew that you didn't come inside to play, you had to be outside. You didn't come inside, your mother would never let you in there. We didn't have television, we didn't have any of those great things. We had one light bulb in the middle of the ceiling, and that's what you had for electricity. So part of the thing is that, you know, it's not I'm trying to say that that was a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. That's a good way to grow up, because you have to use your imagination. You have to understand what things are like. However, I didn't know about the outside world. It was one of those kind of things that was a very rude awakening when I got there. But one of the things that I wanted to share is that some of the joys that you have as a child. One of the great things that I had was that I remember being out there playing with the kids, other kids, little Amish kids and Mennonite kids, because they play too. They ain't always sitting there, but they get out there and they do their thing. And we used to go outside, and we used to play, you'd throw cow pies, I don't know whether you all know what that is, you know, with each other, things like that. Because we didn't have a lot of toys, so you had to enjoy those kind of things. So, but you had to learn to duck. That was a big thing. One of the things we used to do is a lot of swimming. We had this swimming pond that was out there. We didn't have swimming pools or any of those kind of things. It was a pond out there. It was about maybe a half a mile out in the field and things, because cows would go through there and things like this. And we'd go out there, and that's where we'd go swimming. So sometimes we'd be at the barn, and after you get all the chores done and things like this, you were like, let's go swimming. Okay, that's a good thing. Well, my brothers and, other kids, they would jump on the horses and ride out there. Well, me being the little scrawny kid, how am I going to get there? So we had this one cow. And I would get on that cow and we'd slowly get out there. I'd ride the little cow. I had heard the cow was 50 pounds. So the cow's like, okay, this is cool. This dumbass kid's going to ride. So we're going along, and you can drive it. You can ride a cow at your knees. You just guide them like that, and they'll go. Okay, I'll let you know that in future reference if you ever have to ride it. So anyways, I'm going to get there, and sooner or later I'd get to the pond. They'd be out there swimming and everything. I'd get there. I'd do my swimming thing and have a good time. Okay. So one of the things is that when you're growing up and, I started grade school. I started when I was 5 because my mother said, get him out of the house. So anyway, I started when I was 5. Well, one of the things is that when I was growing up, my name was Mickey. My sister was Vicky, Randy, Sandy, Penny, and Denny. No imagination in my family. So anyway, I said, well, okay, here we go. So I'm going through life, Mickey, okay? So I get to grade school, everything like this, and I'm sitting in class, and I'm trying to learn. And she'd call me, and the teacher would say, Arthur, what's this? Arthur, what's that? And I was like, I'm done. I'm like, so, back then they had corporal punishment. I don't know whether you know what that is. I mean, they come up there and slap you with a ruler. So I was getting slapped a lot. I was like, what's the deal with this, So I finally, parent-teacher thing, that's when the parents used to go to school and listen to the teacher. And she says, he doesn't pay attention. I keep calling on him. He doesn't answer me. I don't know what the heck's going on. Well, the first thing is, my parents never told me my name was Arthur. I said, what? Who? What are you talking about? Arthur. Oh, that's not a really good name anyway. Medieval at least. Anyway. So I said, oh, so my name's Arthur. Why have you been calling me Mickey? Well, that's your nickname and blah, blah, blah. The way I said, okay, whatever. So anyway, so I learned to pay attention. So when they call him Arthur, oh, that's me. I learned that the hard way. So anyway, you go on life and things, and so you end up you get poked at a lot, you get prodded a lot, because they always had the Mickey Mouse jokes and things like this, and you learn to live with those kind of things, okay? So those were the school days, and so they came and they went, and I finally graduated high school and went on with my life, and so I thought, okay, this is good. Well, here's, like Reverend Steve was talking about, choices. Sometimes you have challenges too. Well, when you get growing up and you're 18 years old and your draft number comes through and it's number 17, and the Vietnam War is going on, where do you think you're going to be? Take a guess. You're going to be a target somewhere. And I said, that's not going to happen to me. So given a choice, I decided I'm going to have a challenge here. So I said, well, I'll join the Navy. I'll get on an oiler in the Atlantic or something. I will never have to say it. Well, needless to say, they sent me there anyway. So I controlled helicopters in the Vietnam War and things from 72 to 75. And so it was an experience. It was one of my first experiences that I had with spiritualism. You're like, in Vietnam, spiritualism? Well, the Vietnamese, believe it or not, are very spiritual people. They honor their dead. They worship them. They talk to them. They feed them. They had these little things. Believe it or not, back in the day, I was actually seeing this young lady named Nguyen Thi Nguyen, little Vietnamese girl. Well, she wasn't that little, but anyway, the whole thing is, I was amazed. And she said, well, we're going to go to the cemetery today and, honor our dead. I said, you're going to do what? I was like, that's where you just go and you don't ever go back, because that's what we did in our family. So I went there with her and everything like this. I was amazed. They bring them food. They sing to them. They talk to them and everything. And they said, they're never dead. They just go to the other side, and they're always here. I was like, say what? I was like amazed. But it was one of those kind of things. I said, well, this is an experience. This is an experience, and I understand it. I can understand how it goes. So anyway, going through life and everything, and I come back and went to GI Bill and went to college and everything like this took me a long time, but I ain't the brightest bulb and all. But I got there. And I finally graduated and things, and life went on. And so it was the kind of a thing that I was just like amazed. So one of the things is that what I wanted to point out here is you got to know who you are, whether you're a Mickey or an Arthur. You got to know. Somebody needs to tell you. If they don't tell you, you need to find out for yourself. So after I got back and things, and I don't want people to think I'm anti-electronics, because sometimes I am. I'm not really sure about everything. I kind of like, do I need this in my life? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So people think, oh, you just hate things. I consider myself a no-techer. There's a term. That's what somebody told me. And they told me I was pre-Kennedy. Didn't understand that either. But anyway, I said, a no-techer. So what's that mean? That means I don't embrace technology. You know, it's probably good for some people. It's good for a lot of different things. I mean, cell phones. I have a satellite TV. That was a move up for me. Anyway, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that we have a lot of times these little things that come into our lives. And I mean, I can understand dog bites, but kilobytes, not so much. Okay, so anyway, the thing is that a lot of people say that, oh, well, you're off the grid because you don't want to be have a computer and all that. I said, well, off the grid, what's that really mean? Well, all these things fly at you and you've got to say, okay, whatever, just let it go and just go on with your life, okay? So one of the great things that I found off that is that a lot of people get caught up in things like the Facebook, the Twitter, all these things. I call it the Spacebook, and I call it the quitter. Because one of the things that we do in these things is we don't have FaceTime. They call it Facebook, but you never see anybody's face. You just sit putting down things and say, oh, okay, there, we're done. Oh, type this in here. Oh, I'm done. I'm done. Well, what happens? We lose the contact between you and me. This is the things. We have the light that we share with people, the love that we share with people. You can't share that when you're on Facebook. You don't do that. You're just sending an electronic signal out there to send them a message or something. Whether it's a good message or a bad message, I don't know. The message that you have is when you're in front of that person and you're sharing that experience with them. That, to me, is that social media. Now, they say social media. Is it really? Not so much. I don't think so, because to me, social is that FaceTime, to talk with that person, to share that handshake, to share that hug, to share that friendship. That is, to me, social. One of the things that I found out in life is that people, because I don't have computers, I don't exist. They'd rather, oh, I'll just send emails out to everybody, push the button and it's gone. And they forget about you. Well, I do have a phone, okay? I do have a phone. You can call me and tell me something, but oh, you're not on email, so I can't talk to you. Say, what? You know what happened to the phone? I know we used to start out by banging drums, you know, to send messages and smoke signals and things. Well, we've come a long way, but the phones still work. Okay? So we can still use those, but people choose not to because they don't want to have that communication with their fellow man. It's easier not to look at you, to talk to you. Now, here's something else. The word convenience. Everybody understands that word? Remember Saturday Night Live? It's so convenient. Remember the church lady? Well, my thing is, what's convenience? Is it people go through drive-thrus? How many people go through the drive-thru all the time? Not even. Well, a lot of people do. You know, what are you doing there? You're emitting greenhouse gases into the earth because you're sitting in a car waiting 20 people ahead of you so you can get your cheeseburgers. Or, well, maybe not cheeseburgers, veggie burgers. Right. Anyway, the whole thing is, and I'm looking at it, I'm saying, you know what? That's wrong. I go park that car, I get out, and I go talk to people. There's never anybody in there. And there's maybe one or two people. I'm like, I've got good service here. I get to see the people that are making my cheeseburger. I get to share the experience. Hi, how you doing today? What's up with you? It's good to see you, blah, blah, blah. And share that. Hey, you look nice today. You say a little kind word, you spread a little bit of energy, you spread a little bit of love. It makes some people feel good. You know, they're making minimum wage. They're not really excited about flipping your hamburgers or giving you French fries. But the thing is, if you go in there and you share a little bit of love and a little bit of appreciation and put that light out there, they appreciate that. They're like, hey, that was a really nice guy. I really liked him. And he rang the bell when he left. He must have really liked it. You know? So anyway, these are the kind of things that I want to share. When you go to the bank, you always just go there. I want to go in there and look at the lady counting my dollars out. Okay, I want to go talk to these people. Let them know who I am. Okay, I'm not just somebody driving by in a car, asking for this. No, I don't need to talk to you. Don't talk. I want to be able to experience that. That is what we're here for. We call it humankind for a reason. Okay, be kind to everyone. We're kind to animals. We're kind to everybody else. And the other thing I saw the other day, save a stamp. Are they endangered? Did I miss something? Save a stamp. I'm like, hey, look, I can buy a stamp. Okay, we need to do these kind of things. I'm amazed at some of the analogies and things we come up with. So these are always challenges. And I think that I would like to see them eliminated in life if you can. Just stop. Smell the roses kind of thing. Get out and talk to the people. Share with them those experiences like this. How's your day going? You know, you're looking good today. That's a meaningful exchange instead of just sitting there on Facebook or going through a different thing. These are the things that I find. We get to share that light. And one of the other things is spirit guidance. Okay, now, one of the things is, as far as in spirit guidance, and I have kind of like a little story here that I want to share with you. I kind of like it. It's one of those kind of things, growing up in the North and then actually settling in the South, I learned a lot of differences between the people. You know what the difference between a story in the North and a story in the South is? A story in the North starts out once upon a time. In the South, it starts out, you ain't gonna believe this. So anyway, as we go along, I get out and I try to enjoy things in life. And I go through yard sales and flea markets and things like this. And one of the things I like to collect are pictures of military men.
Oh, wow.
Here's one of World War I. Gentlemen, and if you all want to see this, I'll bring it out to you. So I like to find these kind of things in yard sales and flea markets because they mean something to me. You know, having that Vietnam experience and being able to identify with the military, I find that this is an important issue. This was thrown away by somebody, thrown into a pile, and we don't need this anymore. It means something to me, and it means something to these people here. And here's another one. This is one that has a historical meaning, thrown away again, once again. This is a POW march from the Korean War, okay? That's significant. Okay, somebody, once again, threw it away, didn't mean nothing to them, throw it away, we don't need that anymore, it's a picture. To me, it means something. I look at that, I see the anguish, I see everything in these people's faces, what they're going through, what these guys, the camaraderie, the love, the friendship that they had for each other. These are the kind of things that are stuck in pictures that are there forever. However, once in a while, I pick up one like this. This is a picture of an elderly, well, he's not elderly, he was young then, but he's probably elderly now because this was probably about the turn of the century. Now, when I say turn of the century, I mean the 19th. Okay, not this last one, but the one before, okay, which is some people can identify. So these are the kind of pictures that I like to see. So I try to buy these. I get them every once in a while for $1, $2, something like that. They mean something to me. One of the things is, I go out there and I bought a bunch of pictures one day from this elderly lady down there in the flea market. And I got one like this. Okay, it was a little bit bigger. Didn't think much about it, put it on the desk, went on my way, went to church the next day, came home, said, let me see what I bought yesterday. So I started going through them. I picked this one up and it was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I started feeling all kinds of energy off of it. I look on the back. It says A. Hagstrom, Pearson, 1880. I thought, interesting. I started to look at it a little bit deeper into the eyes and things like this. I started getting some vibrations. I thought, well, this is fascinating. This is an interesting picture. But evidently, Mr. Hagstrom thought those too. He says, hey, here's somebody I can touch in with, you know. For that whole night, he would not leave me alone. He came to me. He says, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. You can take me there. You can take me there. So most of the night, I was getting messages from Mr. Hagstrom from the other side, telling me, take me home, take me home. He started showing me all kinds of things. Ferns. I was like, ferns? I mean, what's this mean? Ferns, I mean big ferns. I was caught up in them. He started showing me pictures of all kinds of things, old houses, this and that. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? So I kept saying his name over and over and over and over again. I didn't get much sleep that night. He showed me pictures of this elderly black gentleman, okay, sitting there smoking a little stogie, hanging out his thing. And I thought, okay, well, what's this got to do with anything? So anyway, the next morning I wake up, and it was a Monday, and I said, you know, I got to find something about this. I'm not going to rest. So I call it Pearson, which is, anybody know where Pearson is? Yeah. It's up the road of peace. That's what you say in the South. It's up the road of peace, and that is 25, 35 miles an hour. So anyway, I thought, okay, well, I call him up, and I says, can I come up and talk with somebody? He says, yeah, come on up, you know, they're friendly, they're country people, you know. I said, look, I got this picture here, I need to find out who it belongs to. Could you tell me something about the Hagstrums if they're around? He says, oh yeah, they own a fernery. I was like, fernery? I was like, holy good gosh, here it's coming together now. So anyway, they says, you go down this road, you turn left, you go to the water fountain, you go to, you know, country people, you know, we don't go by the roads, we just go by barns and trees and things like this. So I said, okay, so I found it up, I'm pulling up there, and I'm saying, oh my God, there's that house. He showed me that house. So I walk in there, and I says, y'all ain't gonna believe this. So anyway, I go up to the fernery, and I says, I got this picture here. And I kept hearing Albert Hagstra. His name was Alvin. I thought, well, now you know what, that's close, I'll accept that, that's close enough, you know. So anyway, I go in there and I show them the picture, and they were like, oh my God, where did you get this? I said, well, I got it at the flea market things, and the gentleman wants to come home. This is where he belongs. This is where he told me to bring him. So I took him in there and everything like this, and there says, well, look, let's go back, and they're kind of friendly. And they show me all through the office and things, and here's all these pictures, these old pictures. And sure enough, here's this old black man. A picture of him sitting there with a bunch of other people, because back in them days, that's what, the workers were black people, now they're Mexicans. But anyway, the whole thing is, then I was just like, I was taken back. I says, I know this guy. You know, I remember him from last night. So I was like, okay, Mr. Hagstrom got home. He was very happy. When I left, that weight was off my shoulders. I felt like really good. I knew he got home. So his family was very happy to get that picture back, because evidently it had gotten lost or thrown away or something like this in the past, and they were like, they didn't have a picture of it. So now they do, and they found he made it home. So I feel like that sometimes Spirit guides you into these things, whether you realize it or not, sends you on the right path or whatever. He says, this man wants to go home, take him home. You can do it because you have the physical body to get him there, okay? I said, okay, I'll do that. So I took him home. And he was very happy, made me happy. Anyway, so sometimes those kind of things do happen. Now, one of the things in life, there's lots of journeys that you make. Some of them are a little helter-skelter. Some of them are direct. Sometimes you don't know exactly where you're going to go, but you're going to get there. So mine's been kind of an intermediate type, you know, I'm going to go this way, oh, no, go that way, oh, no, go this way. Started going to Pentecostal churches, thought, oh, this is good, it's entertaining and things. So anyway, I learned my way. And then when I got to the spiritualist churches in the 80s, I was like, this is where I belong. This is where I felt the most comfortable. This is what makes sense, okay, to me, to understand things. I don't like to be criticized, condemned, or complained about. You know, like that. I don't want anybody to tell me how bad I am and I'm going to go to hell because I didn't do this. That's not going to happen, okay? This doesn't happen, and this cannot be right. So I felt like this was the kind of thing. So sometimes you make your own happiness. So what I found out in life is that you make your own happiness. And people's life lessons are their life lessons. They're not always yours. So don't take on their responsibilities. My daughter is kind of dysfunctional. And I'm like, it's your dysfunction, not mine. Okay? Sorry for your bad luck, but you never listened to me, so there you are. And so it's up to you. If you want to straighten out your life, you need to straighten out your life. I can't do it for you. So my kind of thing is that let her go. If you have problem children or problem friends or something, sometimes they hook on to you and they won't let go. Help them along. Help them let go. So because they'll drag you down. And then they steal your energies. They steal your money. They steal everything from you. Everything that you have worked for is gone. And you're saying, what happened? What happened? Well, they're having a good time on your stuff. So my thing is that you have to look at a lot of different things. You got to know where you're going, and you got to know how you get there. You know, mine's been one of those kind of up and down things. You know, I've been here, I've been there. I started in Virginia. I enjoyed the spiritual church. I went to Edgar Cayce quite a few times. Went there a lot because I was on the same road, so it was really convenient. Convenience, once again. But it was a different kind of thing, you know. And I enjoyed that. I said, this is really good, meaningful things. I listened to mediums and things, and I thought, wow, that's a fascinating aspect of things. And I realized that I have it too. Not so much, but every once in a while something comes through, and I'm like, hey, how'd that happen? I don't know where it came from, but Spirit guides you, and they help you along. One of the things is that I always say is that you can't, if you don't see the entire staircase, you can still make the first step. This is a very important thing. And you have a lot of natural laws that are guided. You have to listen to them and respond to them. They're there. They work good for you. Now, one of the things is that when I was in my journeys and going through things, I just, oh, I want to be immortal. I want to live forever. So I got into designing houses, things like this, and, you know, being an architectural type person and building inspector for many, 25 years. But anyway, the thing is that I enjoyed that. And I says, these houses will last forever. They'll say, Art Morris did this house. I put my name on every plan, every page of everything that I could, so that they say, hey, I was here. To me, I thought that was being immortal. But then I realized, you know, when the mortgage is done in 50 years from now, somebody says, oh, that house looks like crap. We're going to tear it down and build up something else. Now, what am I doing? Nothing. I've lost everything. I'm not immortal at all. However, I am eternal. Eternal. The spirit that you have inside of you is eternal and lasts forever. The love that you have for each other and for yourself lasts forever. So, do you want to be immortal or eternal? I'd rather be eternal, because immortals don't last forever. 100 years from now, I'm going to say, who? What? You know, of course, some people we still talk about, but, you know, for the most part, you know, people that had the meetings and that did the things, you don't remember who they were. And you look them up in Wikipedia or something, say, oh, gee, I've never heard of him before. Well, he thought he was immortal, but he is eternal. So my thing is that it's important to be eternal, and we all are. We all share that. We share the love. We share the light. Share that light with the people making your cheeseburger. Share that light with the person that's counting your money out at the bank. These kind of things are important. Spread it around. Spread it with your neighbors. Enjoy it. Well, some of them. We have a few neighbors I don't want to talk to, but anyway. The thing is, it's important that we do these things. We have to share our lives, share our experiences, and share the love. This is important to each and every one of us. One of the other things that I think that a lot of times is sometimes you're a little bit confused and you're not really sure which way to go, but ask for Spirit's help and they will guide you. And if you just ask them and sit and listen, it'll happen. So sometimes it's like, it's really slow, it may be cumbersome. Sometimes it's a challenge. But then sometimes you have to ride the cow. And I will thank you.